well-wishers, and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss Act 3, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. Now the video will be a little long, so I'm giving you a quick overview of what the scene is going to be all about, and after that you can follow the line by line explanation, and towards the end I will also discuss the important takeaways and themes from this scene. So we see in Act 3, Scene 2, the aftermath of Julius Caesar's assassination. Brutus addresses people to justify the murder, emphasizing his love for Rome over his loyalty to his friend Caesar. However, after that, when Mark Antony talks, who is Caesar's close friend, he turns the tide with masterful speeches. It incites the crowd against the conspirators. So the scene concludes with the news of the arrival of Octavius Caesar and the flight of Brutus and Cassius from Rome. Act 3, Scene 2 begins in the forum. Brutus enters with Cassius and the plebeians. Now plebeians are the common citizens. The citizens or the plebeians say, "We will be satisfied, let us be satisfied." He says that we have a lot of reasons and let us get the reasons out of Brutus and Cassius. And what are the reasons? Reasons about why have they killed Julius Caesar. Brutus says, "Then follow me and listen to me, my dear friends. Cassius, you go into the other street after dividing the numbers. Those who wish to hear me speak, let them stay here, and those who want to go with Cassius, let them follow him, and a public explanation will be given for Caesar's death. I will hear Brutus speak." Second plebeian says, "I shall hear Brutus speak." Second citizen says, "I shall hear Cassius speak, and we shall compare the reasons given by Brutus and by Cassius, and accordingly we will take a decision about whether it was fair to kill Julius Caesar or not." Cassius goes out with some of the citizens, and Brutus now goes on to the platform. The third citizen says that everyone should be quiet now because Brutus has gone on to the platform and he will talk. Brutus says, "Be patient till the last. That is, till I have finished giving you reasons. Romans, my fellow countrymen and friends, hear me speak for my cause, so that you may hear, be silent. Believe me, as I am a man of honor and respect my honor, you will be able to believe me. You will get the chance to judge me with your wisdom, your intelligence, and based on that, you will be able to decide whether we did the right thing by killing Julius Caesar or not. If there be anyone who is gathering over here who was a dear friend of Julius Caesar, it was me who was the foremost and beloved friend of Julius Caesar." So he goes on to say that, "My friend asked why Brutus rose against Caesar. That is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar the less, but that my love for Romans was greater." This is a very, very important line, that his love, his pride for Rome was far greater than his love for his dear friend, and based on that, he went ahead with the idea of killing Julius Caesar. Would you rather have Caesar alive? And all of you, if he would have been alive, would be reduced to being, slaves. As Caesar was a beloved friend of mine, I'm crying for him. I'm very sad about the fact that he is no more with us. Yet I rejoice at the fact that I was brave, I honored him, and because he was being very, very ambitious, I got him killed. There are tears for his love, yes, joy for his good fortune, respect for his bravery, but death because of his ambition. Constantly he is giving this reason that he had valor, he had courage, he had everything good in him, but that one flaw which made me go ahead and take this decision was ambition. Then he goes on to say that who is here so rough that he does not glory in being a Roman? Now he starts questioning the identity of the people. He says that, do you not take pride in being Romans? And if your identity of being a Roman gets compromised, would you also not take this kind of a step? Then see towards the end of the speech. If any speak for him, love for his country. If any speak for him, have I offended? I pause for a reply. That is, he says that if there is any man who wants to still take a decision about whether I'm right or wrong, I am going to be quiet. I will pause for a reply from your side, and you all can go ahead and tell me whether I did the right thing or not. The citizens say, none, Brutus, none. There are no men who will not follow you. Brutus says that none have I offended. That is, then if all of you support what I have done, then I hope I have not offended anyone. I have done no more to Caesar than you are at liberty to do, Brutus. That is, just because I thought Caesar was being over ambitious and I killed him, I lay myself open and bare in front of you. You all also have the permission to do exactly what I did with Caesar. That is, you also have the permission. If you think I'm wrong, then kill me. The question of his death is enrolled in the Capitol. That is, the matter of his death will be recorded in the Capitol. His glory has not been reduced. He will be given the respect that he was worthy of. Yet he has suffered death because of being over ambitious. Now at this time, Mark Antony and others enter with Caesar's body. Remember, in the previous scene he told that first Brutus would go and speak, and after that only Mark Antony would be allowed to speak. So Brutus says that here comes his body, mourned by Mark Antony, who, though he had no hand in his death, shall receive the benefit of his dying. That is, it is not Mark Antony who wanted Caesar to die, or he was not included in the plan with us, but he wants to be over here to speak a few words for his friend. Having said that, I depart as I killed my best friend for the good of Rome. I have the same dagger for my own death whenever my country's good shall require it. That is, if y'all feel that I am also compromising the identity of you Romans, y'all have the full liberty to kill me also, but for now I hand over to Mark Antony. At this time, all the plebeians shout out, live Brutus, live, live. The first plebeian says, bring him with triumph home unto his house. The second plebeian now says, give him a statue with his ancestors. That is, let a statue be erected for Julius Caesar beside those of his ancestors. The third plebeian says, let him be Caesar. That is, let him be made the emperor. The fourth plebeian says, Caesar's better parts shall be crowned in Brutus. That is, the best qualities of Caesar shall be passed over to Brutus. At this time, the first plebeian says that we will escort him to his house with shouts and cheers. Then Brutus says, my countrymen. The second citizen says, hush, silence, Brutus is speaking, everyone be quiet. First citizen also tells everyone to be quiet, and then Brutus says, good countrymen, let me depart alone, and for my sake, you stay here with Mark Antony, pay your final respects to the corpse of Caesar and to the speech which Mark Antony will deliver now. By our permission, he is giving a speech over here, so I beg of you to listen to him very nicely and let no man go away except I myself until Antony is spoken, and then Brutus comes down from the platform. First plebeian, stay ho and let us hear Mark Antony. That is, let us hear Mark Antony speaking. Third plebeian, let him go up into the public chair. And all the plebeians say, we will hear him. Noble Antony, go up. After this, Antony starts talking. For the sake of Brutus, I am grateful to you. The fourth plebeian says, what does he say of Brutus? Why is he mentioning Brutus? He came here to talk about Caesar. First citizen says that for Brutus's sake, he is obliged to have got this opportunity to come and talk over here. The fourth plebeian says, I would be as well for him to say nothing against Brutus here. That is, he wants nothing to be said against Brutus, otherwise there will be problem. The first citizen says that this Caesar was a tyrant. Third citizen says, indeed that is true. We are lucky that Rome has got rid of him. The second plebeian says, let us all hear now what Mark Antony is saying. We will talk about our opinions later. Mark Antony begins the speech, you gentle Romans. All the plebeians again tell that everyone be quiet, let us hear what Antony has to say. Antony begins by saying, friends, Romans and countrymen, give me all your attention because I have come here to help in the burial of Julius Caesar and not to deliver any kind of words of praise for him. The evil deeds that men do remain after their death. Their good actions are forgotten. Let it be so with Caesar. The noble Brutus has told you that Caesar was very ambitious. If that was true, it was a severe fault and Caesar has paid a heavy penalty for it. It is very true, because if ambition is such a big flaw that one must die, then so be it. Here, by permission of Brutus and the others, for Brutus is an honorable man as others, have I come to speak at Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and true, but Brutus says he was ambitious. And we must remember that Brutus is an honorable man. So see how wordplay is being used by Mark Antony to win the confidence of the plebeians, and then he is going to also put his views across. Then he goes on to say that Caesar has brought many prisoners of war back to Rome, and the money paid for their liberation, their freedom, went into the public treasury. Did this seem like an ambition on Caesar's part, that he freed so many Roman prisoners who were stuck due to war? Then he says the second reason, that is, when poor people have suffered, Caesar has wept or cried for them. Ambition should show a harder nature. If you are ambitious, you will not have that soft, sensitive nature in you, but Caesar had that. So that is the second reason he gives. Next he says, yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all saw how on the festival of the wolf, I 3 times offered him a royal crown, which he did 3 times refuse. Remember, there was a scene where 3 times the crown was offered to Julius Caesar and he had refused it. Then he again questions, was that ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and certainly he is an honorable man. I love the way Mark Antony is using words to influence them. I'm not trying to contradict what Brutus has said, but I'm only telling you what I know about myself and Caesar. You all loved Caesar once, and without any proper reason. What reason is it here that should prevent you from mourning for him? O common citizens, who have become the property of animals, for men have lost their reasoning ability because Brutus has killed Caesar and he is trying to show himself to be all good. You common people, you have lost the ability to reason like human beings. You all have become no less than animals. Be patient with me. My heart is full of grief right now for Caesar as he lies there in the coffin, and I must wait till I can calm myself again to tell you further. The second plebeian says that if you consider this matter in the correct manner, I think Caesar has been greatly wronged in being killed. The third plebeian says, as he masters, I fear there will a worse come in his place. That is, he has my friends, and I fear that a worse man may come in his place. If Caesar was such a good man, yet he got killed, then the next person who is coming, our next master, is going to be worse. The fourth plebeian says, did you notice what he said? Caesar would not accept the crown, so it is certain that he was not ambitious. First citizen says, if it is true, then some will pay dearly for this. The second plebeian says, poor fellow, his eyes are red as fire with weeping. That is, he is referring to Mark Antony. The third plebeian says, that's not a nobler man in Rome than Mark Antony. The fourth citizen says, now attend to him, he is going to speak again. Mark Antony's next important speech, he says, only yesterday the word of Caesar might have controlled the whole world. Now he lies here, and there is not even a poorest man to pay him any kind of respect. My friends, if I were inclined to influence you in any way and charge you all up so that there could be a rebellion right now, I would be doing wrong to Brutus and Cassius, who, as you know, are honorable men. I don't want to do any wrong to them by igniting this fiery spirit in you. I prefer to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, rather than to wrong such honorable men. So you can see how sarcastic he is being over here, that I don't want to mess up with Brutus and Cassius because they are honorable men. But here is a document with Caesar's seal on it. I found it in his private room, and this is a will left by Caesar. If the common people only hear the will, I am not going to read the will right now. They would go and kiss Caesar's wounds. They would dip their handkerchief in his sacred blood and beg but one hair of Caesar to keep it as a fond memory when they died. They would mention this hair in their wills, leaving it as a kind of inheritance for the future generations. That is the kind of respect y'all would feel, my dear Romans, if you would read what is written in a will left by Julius Caesar. The fourth citizen says that we definitely want to hear you read the will, Mark Antony, and all the citizens shout out together, the will, we will hear the Caesar's will. Antony then goes on to say, be patient, my good friends, I must not read it. It is not the correct thing to do based on how much you loved Caesar. You are all not senseless things like wood and stone, but you all are men. And since you all are men, when you hear the will of Caesar, it will inflame your passion. It will make you go crazy. It is better for you to not know what is written in the will. Otherwise, your mind will work in a different manner and it might jeopardize or it might harm Brutus and Cassius. Then the fourth plebeian says, read the will, we shall hear it, Antony. Antony says, will you be patient and wait a little longer? I have gone further than I intended in telling you of it. I fear that if I do anything wrong to the honorable men, their daggers have already stabbed Caesar and I must be the next one to be killed by their dagger. I think I should not have told you about the will in the first place, but here Mark Antony purposely wanted to tell them about the will so that by doing that he could brainwash the common people. The fourth plebeian says that those people are mere traitors, and all the citizens say, read us Caesar's wills and testament. The second plebeian says, all those people are villains and murderers. Read the will. Antony says that, will you compel me then to read the will? Then form a ring round the corpse of Caesar and let me show you the man that made the will. Shall I come down from here? Do you allow me? Now, after that, the plebeians give permission to Mark Antony to come down. The second citizen also says, yes, come down. Third citizen also says, you have the permission. Then Antony comes down. The fourth citizen instructs that everyone stand around the body of Julius Caesar and form a circle. And the first citizen says, stand away from the coffin, stand away from the body. The second citizen says, make room for Antony, the most noble Mark Antony. Antony says that don't come so close, keep away from me, otherwise there might be a doubt that might be arisen if Brutus sees us like this. The citizens all give instructions that yes, stay a little far away from each other. Now Antony begins talking. If you are able to shed tears, start crying now, because you all know this cloak that Caesar is wearing. I remember the first time Caesar ever wore it. It was on a summer evening in his tent on the day he defeated the tribe called the Nervi. Look, here is the place where the dagger of Cassius was pierced. See what a tear in it is. Envious Casca made. So one by one he starts showing the places where each of them have, pierced their daggers into the body of Caesar. And as he pulled the dagger out again, see how Caesar's blood flowed out, rushing outside to be assured whether it was Brutus who had stabbed him or not. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's dearest friend. Then he says, O gods, consider how dearly Caesar loved his dear friend Brutus. This was the most unkind of all the wounds where Caesar was attacked by Brutus, and when Caesar saw Brutus stab him, it made others more strong and it broke the heart of Julius Caesar. Remember, he said, Et tu, Brute? wrapping his mantle around his face just by the base of Pompey's statue, which meanwhile was flowing with blood, great Caesar fell. Oh, what a terrible fall that was, my countrymen. It was a fall not just of Caesar literally by dying, but a fall for all of you, because this has been a kind of treachery, cheating, where these people, just for the sake of honor, have gained power, and Julius Caesar has died. After hearing this, I am assured that you are all going to weep. These are kind tears, my good people. Do you cry now when you look at Caesar's wounded body? Look here. Here is Caesar himself, spoiled as you see by traitors, and then he uncovers the body of Caesar, and then all the citizens one by one comment, "O piteous sight, O noble Caesar, O day of woe, O traitors, O most bloody sight, we will be avenged." And then all the citizens together cry out, "Revenge, turn about, seek for them, burn them with fire, kill all these traitors, leave none of them alive." This is the part where, after seeing the body of Julius Caesar, each of the plebeians, they comment that we are going to take revenge. Whatever has happened with Caesar was not correct. Antony says that, "Stay, my countrymen, don't get overexcited, because we don't want to call for attention of Brutus and Cassius right now." The first plebeian says, "Stop, let's hear Mark Antony talking." The second plebeian says, "We shall hear him, and we are going to follow him and die with Mark Antony, because he seems to be speaking sense compared to Brutus and Cassius." I really love the way Mark Antony has been able to influence people in the correct manner by initially winning the confidence of the people by, speaking in words of praise of Brutus and Cassius, and then gradually giving reasons about why killing Caesar was wrong. See, again he says, "Good friends, dear friends, let me not make you feel suddenly so angry that you all are going to break out into a fight. Those of you who have done this are honorable men. What private complaints they may have had, I don't know, which forced them to commit the murder. They are all wise and honorable men, yes, there is no doubt about it, and they have given satisfactory reasons. However, I am not fluent speaker like Brutus, but as you all know, I am a plain, simple fellow who loves my friend Caesar dearly. They knew very well when they gave me the permission to speak of Caesar in public that I don't have quick wit, and I will never be able to create an impact or impression on you, that I have no power of fluent speech that would stir up the passions of men, and that is why I am talking to you in a very straightforward manner. I am telling you things that you know already. I am just showing you the wounds of Julius Caesar, the poor dumb mouths, and ask them to speak for me. If I were Brutus and he were Antony, he would be able to stir up your spirits and make a fluent tongue for every wound of Caesar. That is, whatever I told you about each of the wounds of Caesar was told in a very simple, straightforward manner, because I don't have the gift of speaking well. So I've told you in a very simple manner. However, if Brutus was here, he would have, spoken in a much better manner, but because I am a dear friend of Caesar, on those grounds I have been talking to you right now, and I have shown you things which you already know, and then the decision is up to you about whether the murder of Caesar was the right thing to be done or not. The first citizen says that yes, we are all going to fight. Then he says, "We shall burn the house of Brutus." Third plebeian says, "Away then, come, let's go and speak to the conspirators." Antony says, "Yet hear me, countrymen, hear me speak. I have still got some more things to add on." The plebeians say, "Everyone be quiet, Antony will speak now." Antony then says, "Why, friends, you do not know what you are about to do. In what respect has Caesar so much deserved your love? You do not know. I must tell you, you have forgotten the will of which I told you. That is, I just showed you the body of Caesar and the wounds that were inflicted on him, but I'm yet to tell you about the will. And before telling you about the will, you all have already got so passionate about taking revenge. After this, the plebeians say, most true, yes, we want to know about the will. Antony then says that here is the will with Caesar's seal upon it. To every Roman citizen he gives, to each individual, 74 drachmas. The second plebeian says, most noble Caesar, we are going to revenge your death. Third plebeian says, O royal Caesar. Antony says, hear me with patience. Plebeians say, yes, peace, ho. Antony then says, moreover, he has left you all with his private roads, his forests of trees and newly planted orchards on the sides of the river Tiber. He has left them to you and your heirs forever. Common pleasure grounds in which you may walk and refresh yourself. What a Caesar he was! When shall we hear of another Caesar like this, who gave everything for the common good of the Romans, so that not just you but your future generations would also take the benefits of it? The first plebeian says, never, never, come away, let us burn his body in the holy temple, and with the burning logs we shall set fire to the houses of those traitors. The second plebeian says, go fetch fire. The third plebeian says, pluck down the benches so that they can be put on fire. The fourth citizen says, tear down the seats, benches, windows, anything. The citizens go out with the body. Antony says, now let the movement proceed. Spirit of trouble, I have started you. Now take your own course of event. Enter a servant at this time. How now, fellow? The servant says, sir, Octavius has already arrived in Rome. Antony asks, where is he? The servant says, he and Lepidus are at Caesar's house. Antony says that thither will I straight to visit him. Here comes upon a wish. Fortune is merry and in this mood will give us anything. That is, he says that they had probably seen some signs from the people on the way which I had moved them. Take me to Octavius and I am going to tell him everything about whatever has happened. In Act 3, Scene 2, we see ambition and power at work. First of all, we have Caesar's ambition, that is, while Brutus accuses Caesar of excessive ambition, Antony subtly challenges this narrative which is told by Brutus, highlighting examples where Caesar rejected power. The scene also highlights what are the consequences of unchecked ambition and the length to which individuals can go to obtain and maintain power. Secondly, we see the theme of loyalty and betrayal. That is, Brutus argues that his loyalty to Rome is far greater than his loyalty to Caesar, portraying the assassination of Julius Caesar as necessary for the common good of the Roman Republic. Mark Antony, on the other hand, reveals his loyalty to Caesar through his passionate defense and condemnation of the conspirators. He considers the murder to be a wrong thing. We see both Brutus and Antony employ persuasive ways to sway the crowd, to influence the public. Antony's use of irony, repetition, turns the public sentiment against the conspirators like Brutus. We also see in the scene how there is fickleness of public opinion. This has been evident ever since Act 1, Scene 1 of the play, about how the public does not have a mind of their own. Whatever is told to them, they believe it. The plebeians also shift rapidly from mourning for Caesar to seeking revenge on his murder. So we see how there is utter chaos which is unleashed by the assassination of Caesar, and how there is going to be further power struggle between the different leaders in Rome. So Act 3, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar shows how there is going to be a lot of unrest and political disturbance in Rome in time to come. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.